Hello, welcome to my video on how to connect Power Automate with SmartThings. One of my passions is trying to connect my work life with my personal life. Makes learning a lot more fun and interesting, and I hope you enjoy this. So I recently went out to to try to figure out how to connect SmartThings with Power Automate. I'd assume there might be some connectors or things of that sort out there, and it turns out there are not. I see a lot of people asking for this in the Microsoft communities. You'll see this marked as solved. It is not solved. It's just marked solved so that it was able to be closed. But it is possible, and that's why we're here. So this tutorial is going to assume a few things. One, and these links are all in the blog post for this video. It assumes that you have some knowledge of Power Automate and some knowledge of SmartThings, but you really don't have to be an expert in either. You should be able to follow along with this if you're not very technical. So please see the blog post for the links on how to get the things you'll need. You will need a few things. You'll need a SmartThings developer account, which is free. You will need, ideally, you should have a program called Postman, which is also free. And obviously, you will need a Power Automate trial or account. It is free to try for a while. So with that, let's jump in. So uh, in my if you haven't signed up with the SmartThings to get a developer account, you should. It's really pretty neat. You get to see your entire device list, but then you get to also either use applications and device handlers made by other people, or you can make your own. One of the cool things that I've added is a virtual weather device that actually talks to my backyard weather station, which then I expose to Alexa to be able to pull in um, the current weather variables from the station, as well as forecasts from other providers. Um, as I said a second ago, you can also install some device handlers to extend your devices. For example, one of them is a water sensor, so you can have more configuration. Or I've also got a mouse catcher as well, a virtual mouse catcher, a device handler, I should say. So the reason why you need that is that you will need to go out and get a token. Now the token is what will allow you to access the SmartThings API that was created 2 or 3 years ago. I want to say in 2017-ish. So you will need to come out to this URL once you've logged in and generate a new token. I'm using a token in this tutorial. I'm going to delete it as soon as it's done. So when you do that, a big giant word of warning. Depending on what you select here, you are potentially giving someone the keys to the castle if they were able to get a handle to your token. We'll talk more about that later when we actually go to use the token. So if, for example, if you select manage and control devices, somebody could come in and unlock your door via an API call. It's absolutely possible. So I've already created one, and once you generate the token, don't show it to you again. I can't see this one that I've already got. I have it saved off screen, so if you neglect to save it somewhere, you're going to have to go and create another one. So once we do that, we will wander out to the SmartThings API. They've actually done a pretty good job here of um, documenting the API. Not all applications have good documentation, and I think this does. So this is where Postman comes into play. I highly recommend using Postman if you're going to be doing any kind of API manipulation. So I've already installed Postman. And the first thing that you're going to do when you're going to access the SmartThings API is you're going to need that token that I just showed you a minute ago that you should have created. So here's my temporary one. Once again, that's going to be gone in a minute. You're going to go to the authorization tab here. Make sure you're still under get because you are doing a get, not a post here. The type is bearer token. And then what you're going to do at that point is, according to the documentation, you can, let me just copy this. So you see in the top right-hand corner of the screen, there's /devices. So that's actually all we're doing right here. So this is the base URL for everybody. So that we're going to do a send and pull back, and sure enough, here is all of my devices. So it's a whole lot of information there. Now we can scroll down a little bit, and you can update a device. We're going to get the status of a device. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to get I want to know the status of garage door opener. So this is how you would get the status of a specific device up here in the top right-hand corner. So let's take this a little bit further here. And actually, I've got this off screen as well. So let me grab that. So I've got a garage door sensor to see if my door is open or closed. And right now it is closed. And it does actually let you go down one level. I don't believe it lets you go down any further than that. So one of the things I can actually do, according to the documentation here, is we can actually go down a step further than that. So see where it says main on line 3 here? You can actually put that in here. And oh, I neglected to. Okay, there we go. So you still got a little bit of work to do once you get down to this far, but it's just JSON. You can parse that pretty easily, and we'll do that in a minute. So now that we've got connection. Oh, okay. So one more thing. Once you get to this point, one of the things that's really neat about Postman is that you can go into click code over here, and you can see how you might integrate this into depending on where you're coding. For example, one of the things that I've done in a different project was to I had to make an API callback to pull back movie posters from a site where I had a subscription. I didn't want to expose that in my client side project, so it was done on the server side. So I made a call to my Node server, and the Node server actually made the call to SmartThings. So that's to the movie poster subscription service. So here's how you might do the same kind of thing with SmartThings, where you would do the call via from the Node server instead of the client side, and that protects your token. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. So now that we've got a working Postman connection, we can now go over to we're going to create a new flow. Oh, did I create I want to create an instant Cloudflow. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm just going to call this garage door. And I'm going to manually trigger it. Obviously, you could trigger it on schedule or any other way. So the first step is we need to call the API. So we're just going to go out here and get HTTP. As we did in Post, it's going to kind of mirror what we did in Postman. And I'm going to grab that same URL that I had in Postman. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky depending on what service you're calling. SmartThings requires the bearer token. And one of the things you're going to need to do, this is very important, otherwise you're going to get a 401 error, is you need to put the word your token in there, but you need to put the word bearer in front of it, bearer in a space, and then your token. Okay, so that's done. Now, as we saw in the SunGrid, we're going to get JSON back. So we're going to parse JSON. And each dynamic expression there, we get the body back, so we want to key off of that. Now, this is pretty neat. This is also one of the reasons why you want to use Postman first, is so it wants to know the schema. One of the things you can do is just go into your Postman and just grab the schema right there, click on generate, and done. Okay. So what are we going to do with this? We're just going to keep it simple here. I have created a table in OneDrive, an Excel table, and I want to, just for kicks, to write out some of the statistics from the web service. So what I've done is I created one with door control, contact sensor, and garage door control. Arbitrary, they all kind of say the same thing, but just wanted an example with a few different ones. So we'll go back out to our flow, and let's see, we will do a new step. Excel line for business, add a row. There's the table we just looked at. Okay, and you'll notice that it finds the headers in the table, so we're just going to map those up. Let's see here, door control. So this is pulling out the values from the body, and that should be it. Okay, we're going to save that. And we're going to run that one time just to make sure it works. And we'll think about it for a second. It's talking to the connectors. And let's run this guy. And there it is. So obviously we want to parse this a little bit further down, but these are the values from SmartThings. So in a future video, I'll make this a little bit fancier, where you can actually send commands to SmartThings to change devices on your network. But that's enough for now. If you like it, please leave a like on the video. Thank you.